sometimes people have what it takes, but they haven't recognized it yet. Just go forward. So what do you need to do? Welcome and hello, ladies and gentlemen. What you need to do is be that person that's different and it's bigger than you think. Rise from the ashes of life. Today I want to talk to you about the power of your voice, authority, credibility, and why exposure in any way is important. Getting yourself out there when it comes to social media. If you're branding yourself, if you are branding your company and you're kind of being a spokesperson, even if you're branding the company and you're trying to remain behind the scenes, building upon credibility is important because people buy from who they know, like, and trust. And if that's you, that's great. If it's the company, that's great. But you raise your expertise, your credibility, and the ability to sell to others and to influence their buying decisions when your trust factor is increased. We can all agree on that. When people trust you, they are much more likely to take action. And at the beginning, nobody knows who in the hell you are. So why would they trust you? The best way to get your message out there nowadays, in this day and age, is video, right? So video's number one. Number two is your message, a written message. Combined with that, some exposure from well-known or widely publicized other brands, outlets, media outlets. If you can combine those two, now you've got some power behind you. But why is that so hard? Well, because public speaking is one of the greatest fears that anybody on this planet has, right? Not all of us are Sarah and Craig. Not everybody's been to Toastmasters. I know some of you guys, I don't know if Richard's on here. Yeah, Richard's on, and some others that have done different things. Not everybody's got that experience. And so how do you overcome it, right? What do you do? I want you to think back. Remember when you were a kid, maybe getting in front of your parents and trying to deliver, or hey, elementary school and having to deliver a book report. How many of you guys had audio, like book reports that you had to present in front of the class, right? You had to give a presentation. Sixth grade, we did a report. I remember in sixth grade, we had to do a country report and we had to pick some animal and do a report. Sixth grade, I still remember I did Finland because my step-grandfather was from Finland. And I thought it was super cool that he had a sauna inside his house. So I was like, I'm going to do a report on this. Saunas and reindeer, let's do it. So I did a whole report on Finland and then had to stand up in front of the class and do a report there. And then when it came to animals, I did a report on a mongoose because I remember that Ricky Tikki Tavi and the mongoose would kill cobras. And I was like, dude, these are the coolest animals and nobody knows anything about them. And people were like, well, isn't that just a ferret? And I had to stand up in front of the class and present the difference between a mongoose and a ferret and how dare they and how amazing these animals were. I remember putting together the report and then having to stand up in front of the class and try and articulate. Why is my alarm going off? I had to stand up in front of the class and articulate to them what this magnificent and marvelous animal was. And then I realized real quick, I'm like, this sucks. I don't like speaking. I don't like doing this. Now, you fast forward a little bit, 7th grade, 8th grade, you get into high school. I don't know about everybody. Did anybody participate in debate? Anybody have speech and debate in high school? Like that was an elective that it was one of the options, but it was one that was kind of recommended. I remember taking it. I remember nothing about the class other than the fact that the teacher often sat up. His desk was elevated and he would sit up and he would read as we prepped. I don't remember ever delivering a speech. I don't remember ever practicing. I don't remember ever learning the value of delivering a message. Whole lot of good our school years did us when it came to overcoming this fear that we have. And now here we are as business people, as entrepreneurs, and here we're living in this day and age of social media where being able to speak gives you a foot up, a step up on a lot of people. So how do you do this, right? So I put together a short course. And it's just a 5-day challenge. What I'm going to do is I'm going to deliver the 5-day challenge to you in 2 days. I got done writing and then recording this yesterday. My video guy is in the process of editing videos. So for those of you that show up today and show up tomorrow, you're going to get access to the videos once they're done. Okay. It is something that I'm giving to my client doing the media training. So, other people will be paying for it. And I will be honest, it is the message that's there and the concepts that are there are powerful and useful if you use them. It's not a $5,000 masterclass. It's nothing crazy. I'm not coming in and with any earth-shattering revelations. But if you've kind of struggled with this, it can be helpful. And honestly, that's the only thing that you need is that first little step. If I can overcome that little bit of fear, man, there's power in that, right? Because it's just convincing yourself that you can do it. Most people don't judge you nearly as harshly as you judge yourself. I mean, sometimes we do, let's be honest. But most people aren't judging you that way. So here we go. First off, why is this important? You have social media. Now, some of you guys may think that you want to get into and do a TV spot at some point. And that's cool. That is fantastic. And there's power there, because how many times have you gotten on and not just, that as seen on TV, I've been featured on Forbes, CNN, NBC, blah, blah, blah. Like that instantly raises your credibility, right? People are automatically going to look. If you can follow that up with a video of you actually doing it, or if they see on your social media you presenting in a clear and concise manner a message that connects with them, oh my gosh, now they're walking the walk. This really is somebody that did this. Man, this is something I should pay attention to. I want to check out. What is it? What else do they have to say? Right? If you're walking into someone's living room, in a sense, by way of their smartphone, if you can capture their attention just that little bit more, there's a lot of power there, because people are bombarded by all sorts of different things like Janine was talking about. Okay. So there's power there. TV. Now we also there's news sites, there's blogs, there's podcasts, and that's kind of next step. So there's steps to this, right? But all of it boils down to you doing your first few videos, right? You finding a way to present. Okay. So maybe that's an Instagram story. Maybe it's an Instagram or TikTok reel, right? The 60-second thing. Yep. We've got some of you on camera, off camera, where the spouse is pointing to you. Some of you are kind of nodding your head. Yes, I think I can do this if I just had that little, shove. Some of you are freaked out about it, but I'm telling you, every single one of you can do this. So here's what I'm going to give you. Let me kind of show you what we've got. So I'll give you this link, actually, if you guys want to go through the ebook. Yes, please teach me now. The ebook's getting finished, like I said, and then the 5-day course is the 5-day challenge to become a powerful public speaker will be added to it. So it's not 100% ready for launch, but it's coming. So here's what you're going to get. First, there's going to be some tips for TV, video, media, etc. I'm going to give you guys this as a worksheet. You can read through it. Choosing your audience, where you're going to go, make sure that you're timely. So not just talking about whatever the hell you want to talk about something that's relevant to what's happening, and find a way to connect that relevant seasonal message to your message. If you can connect what you're doing to whatever's happening in the world or to someone's life today, people will pay more attention to it, right? Remember, your ultimate goal is not to just show them or sell them. What you're trying to do is raise your credibility here. And that's with TV show, that's with a magazine, or that's with video on yours. You want to provide value. So anyway, there's 12 things here. I'm going to give you guys access to this. And then we have our 5-day challenge. Now, here's what we're going to do. Okay. Day 1, I'm going to give you guys day 1, and I'm going to give you day 2 today. So I need you to kind of be active, be ready. I'll drop in the action components into the Skype group, but grab a pen and paper. So day 1, public speaking, powerful public speaking. Here we go, guys. Throughout the challenge, we're going to be using one of 2 speeches. You can kind of pick the one that you want. Yes, I am in America. Yes, these speeches were given by Americans. Yes, it's great for me. And I fully recognize that there are great orators from all over the world. So if you can find one that's fairly brief, pick one from, I think there may have been a person or 2 throughout the history in the UK that gave a speech that might be worth repeating. That's fine. Pick one that you like, right? So I just picked a couple that were fairly easy. So number 1, either grab the Gettysburg Address. The Gettysburg Address was delivered by Abraham Lincoln. It's kind of known as a pretty powerful address. 7 years ago, our forefathers brought forth upon this nation, right? Or upon this continent. It's a fantastic address. The way he delivered it, how it was done, it absolutely transformed the pathway that the United States was on at the time. Great message, not exceptionally long, and so it works for practice here. The other one you can do is you can select Martin Luther King's I Had a Dream. That's a great speech as well, right? You don't necessarily have to do the whole thing. You want to pick one that, maybe a 2-minute section of it, right? Because we're practicing. Okay. Now, some of you, especially if you're here in the States, some of you may have memorized this as a kid. I remember years ago, I think I did with the Gettysburg Address. I don't remember it anymore, and so it worked fine. But what I want you to do is pick one of them. Now, in the details I'm going to drop into the Skype group, I'll include a link to the Gettysburg Address. Either one, Gettysburg, I Had a Dream, or pick something that's relevant to where you are. Everybody good with that? We got that. Okay. Now, along with that, if you have your own speech that you'd like to use, for example, you've got the masterclass script or you've got something else that you're getting ready to film, grab that one. That's perfect because the script's already written. It's not too long. It can be fantastic. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about kind of your fears and visualizing success. Now, why is this important? Is because ultimately almost everyone gets nervous when you're speaking in front of an audience. And it's even funnier when we're speaking in front of a camera and there's nobody around and we're scared to death. Okay. But frankly, it can be fairly scary, right? Whether you're in front of an audience or you're imagining other people seeing it, and now it's being put on the internet and it's going to be seen over and over and over again, and possibly seen by thousands and maybe even millions if you do something in a weird way. Oh my gosh, can you imagine all of those people sitting at home and just watching you and staring at your video and judging you? Ugh. Get over it. Okay? Get over it. All these excuses that I get from people like, oh, I don't want to put myself out there. Okay, grow up. Karen and Robert. I don't think we have any Karens on here, right? I'm just using that as a throwaway name. So first off, I do understand it can be fairly scary, and it's easy to be intimidated. The first step is to directly confront that though. Okay. We have to confront the fears and we have to visualize the success. So number one, action step. You're going to write down, you need to be very specific. What am I afraid of when it comes to speaking? Am I afraid of looking bad, making mistakes, not being good enough, freezing up? And really, if you can, you want to get down even more specific. Is there anybody that has like a particular memory of a time when they did public speaking and it made them freeze up forever? Anybody? I don't need you to share it. I want you to write it down. Think about it. Okay. Maybe it was like third grade when I was in the spelling bee and I misspelled a word that I don't even want to talk about because it was just nerves. I misspelled cheeses. Okay. The semifinals of the spelling bee, and I misspelled cheeses because I forgot an E. Now, I feel like most of my life, I'm a fairly intelligent young man. Misspelling the word cheeses when you're, reading as much as I did even at that age, that was fairly embarrassing. Okay. Overcome whatever it is. Be specific about what you fear. Okay. Write all of that down. Now, here's the thing about writing down your fears is there is a tendency at times to allow that fear to kind of manifest a little bit more and multiply and simmer. Don't do that. All we're doing is recognizing these obstacles. We're going, all right, here's what I need to deal with. Okay. Recognize obstacles as opportunities versus the crippling thing that it may have been in the past. So don't worry about it. Okay. All right. Number one, that's where we're starting. Okay. Next, you're going to determine exactly what those fears are. Okay. Confront them head on. Don't let them hide. Be specific about them, bring them to the front. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to visualize success. This is, if you haven't ever studied it or listened to me do this training on it, maybe go back and watch a training I did on the YouTube channel from, the Phoenix moment, your moment where you lifted up, you rose from the ashes, you burned hot and bright and brilliant for a little while. One moment like that. This is kind of how I want you to visualize the success that you're going to have. And so it's helpful if you can recognize one of those moments. The moment you hit a home run, the moment that your significant other said yes to marrying you, the moment that you first saw your child is great, but not necessarily what we're talking about here because we're looking for some accomplishment that you had. So if you want to say like, well, that moment that I earned my degree, going to college and studying hard and earning my degree, all of that stuff is great. That's the music video, but what's that one moment? So was it when you were handed the diploma? Was it when you passed that final test? When was that euphoric moment that you experienced, right? Like capture that feeling. Now I'm going to sit down. I'm going to visualize my success. And what I'm visualizing is delivering a speech in front of an audience or on my phone that comes out powerfully. So that sense of accomplishment that you feel, the respect from others that are going to come around just by you being there, just by you delivering the message, the reward of being able to spread great thoughts and concepts and ideas, the applause that you're going to get, people standing there cheering for you, standing ovation, the people that come up afterwards and say, damn, Janine, that message, man, everything was great, but you said this and it just touched me. That's what I want you to visualize. Okay. The career boost that you're going to see as your skills, your knowledge increase. Before every public speaking event, this is something that's important. Take time to visualize your success. The best authors, the best speakers, the best artists, the best athletes typically will visualize that success over and over and over again. So to create this action, if you haven't already, you're going to have a piece of paper. You're going to split it in two: fears and success. Okay. Be specific. No vagueness, not, oh, I felt good. It feels great to finally do it. I'm so happy. No, be specific. Okay. The more specificity that you have in your writings and in your thoughts and your actions, the more power you give to yourself. Okay. That's day one. Line on the paper. Day two, I'm giving it to you now. Now we're going to add a little flavor. Okay. So here's where I would come and say, hey, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Day two. I'm your host, Andrew David, for the Powerful Public Speaking course, blah, blah, blah. All right. Hopefully you got through day one and you sat down and you wrote out your fears and you visualized your success. Everybody's going to do that homework. That's great. Today, we're going to talk about adding a little bit of flavor, right? Bringing a little bit of power, a little bit of juice to it. So here's the kind of this success factor I want you to realize. One of the biggest obstacles and struggles that people have in public speaking is mixing up their tone and their speed. You know what I'm talking about. Okay. So they sound a little bit like Ferris Bueller. How many of you guys have seen Ferris Bueller's Day Off? I mean, you know exactly what I'm talking about when I say that people struggled with their tone and their speed from a certain character inside of Ferris Bueller. Okay. I love that Anthony's obviously the youngest guy on here. He knows exactly the movie that I'm talking about. So the teacher inside of Ferris Bueller, everybody's sitting in the class and he's up front, right? Bueller. Is Bueller here? Bueller. How many of you had a teacher that was like that just put you to sleep? Good Lord. I've had, you guys know I've been doing kind of this video and course creation and stuff for a while. I've had a couple of clients that I worked with that, we wrote out the script and worked with them and shot the video, and we got the videos back and went, holy crap. So then we tried to do like a Zoom call, and you guys have seen some of the videos that Blake and I did. And when Blake's on here, and Blake's great on camera, that guy, I mean, charisma oozing out of him. Like, he's fantastic. We did a joint Zoom call. I was helping this guy create a course for fitness instructors. Well, he's a fitness instructor who's working for, to help people get going with other things. Guys, if you're not watching live, I'm sorry, we're going to connect this, but I'm going to press pause for just a second. So if you're not watching live, you're going to miss out on a moment. Back on. So here's what, working with that individual over practice, over time, he was able to overcome things and really get it going. But one of the biggest obstacles that he had at the beginning was speed and tone. And I know you guys hear it here. There are times when I'll speak where it seems like I'm in the middle of a race and I am running with what I'm saying, because speed at times can grab someone's attention. And sometimes what you need is to pause. And if you can do it in the right time, and you can pause when you say something like pause, or I need you to stop, or you have something that makes people go, what's he going to say? What's next? So your speed is important and your tone is important. Okay. Loud, soft, your pitch, right? All of that. Yeah, there is a power to that pause, right? So today, that's day two. This is what we're talking about, right? If you only use a single tone and speed, you're going to bore people. You're going to put them to sleep. You only have in your videos a very, very short amount of time. And so, yes, the headline, the thing that you say, something that you do has to capture their attention. You don't simply want to say, hey, everybody, I'm so excited to be here with you today, because they know, like, if I'm talking to everybody, I'm not talking to anybody. You got to talk to one person. If you say something like, so many people have asked me why, the first thing people are thinking is, nobody asked you anything. Quit lying about it. If you want to tell an individual story about an individual person, that's something, right? Absolutely. Because I can relate to one person. And then there are other moments where you say, I understand how because guys, when you're learning how to be a public speaker, I understand how you feel. I've been there. And the majority of people that I've worked with have felt the same way. There's that fear there. What I found in working with people is if they go through the process of practicing, following these simple steps, and then practicing more, they can become powerful public speakers. And what did I do there? What I just did is I empathized. Say, I understand how you feel. Many others. So I connected with one. Now I connected you with others. So I'm not alienated. Others have felt. Then I found. So through research, trial, etc., we found, and then I offered a solution. Did anybody catch that? I understand how you feel. Many other people I've worked with have felt the same thing. I found this. Here's how they overcame it, right? Feel, felt, found. Absolutely, right? Key components of that. But put that aside. Today we're just talking about the speed and the tone, right? Yep, there you go. Feel, felt, found formula, right? We hear it all the time, but we don't pay attention to it. So what you want to do, we're discovering how you can get on. Here's something to remember, guys. As you're going through, you're becoming a public speaker. It's all about becoming an expert. Comprehensive, authoritative knowledge of a skill in a particular area. Having or involving authoritative knowledge. Now, research indicates that there's no correlation between IQ and expert performance. So if some of you guys are sitting there going, well, I'm not an expert in, that's fine. What you need to understand is, first off, if you're on video, obviously the way you look is going to be important, and that's a whole other topic. What I'm talking about right now is just how you deliver the message. But if I deliver the message in a way and I get rid of my fears and my successes, and then I work on my tone and my speed, and I'm able to slow it down and speed it up, and then tomorrow I'm going to get through day 3, 4, and 5. So we're going to talk about going off the cuff. We're going to talk about, delivering the clear message. We're going to talk about timing, all that kind of stuff. So, and then getting into actual live practice. The way you deliver a message, if you're able to do it in a powerful manner, you'll come off as an expert, right? As long as you don't play it up too much. People will listen simply because you're able to deliver in a way that's interesting to them and they connect with, and you're not boring them. So here's your action for tone and speed. Okay. And why, so you're going to open up the Gettysburg Address. I had a dream, something else. Don't go Shakespeare, go something that's a little bit more modern that you can speak through. Okay. Now here's what you're going to do. You're going to read it through once normally. I don't want you to worry about implementing everything. Don't just yet. Don't try and speed it up and slow it down and tone and everything. Just read it through normally the way that you would do it. When you read it through, I want you to time yourself though. Grab your phone, put on the stopwatch, time yourself, see how long it takes. Then you're going to do it, but you're going to pause on certain sentences. You're going to speed up through others. Okay. You're going to speak loudly at some points, and then you're going to softly lower your voice at certain other elements. Time yourself the second time as well. And we're going to compare them. Hopefully your second time is a little bit slower. Now read it a third time, and this time go even slower. Force yourself to pause. Most people speak far too fast, oftentimes out of nervousness. So you want to practice slowness. That's essential for public speaking. I promise you're going to read it through the first time. You read it through normally, you're going to time it. I promise you the first time that you read it through where you're trying to utilize speed and slowness and you're modifying your tones, it's not going to be much longer than the first time. Right? Remember doing video. You guys met Brock. So forget the video for a second. Let's talk about audio. You guys met Brock last week. Some of you guys had met him before. He's a good friend. He's absolutely amazing. So Brock and I wrote an ebook a while ago about online marketing, drop shipping, affiliate marketing, working online, being able to work from anywhere. book was, I don't know, 120 pages. We connected it to a course. Course did great. We did great with it, but we recorded an audiobook to go along with the ebook, right? Hey, get this and pay a couple dollars more and get the free audiobook, right? So Brock recorded some chapters. I recorded some chapters, and we recorded some together because we wrote the book as if we were speaking, right? We thought it was kind of a different way of doing it. We thought it was kind of cool. So we got on certain topics. We talked about them on video. We transcribed that. We added to it, turned it into a book. And then we recorded the audiobook based on the book. First few times I recorded the audio and then listened to it back. Holy crap. I'm flying through stuff. And I had to slow it down and then slow it down again and then slow it down even more so that what I said makes sense. Right? The cool thing is if you guys ever get to the point where you record your own audiobook and someone goes, man, they're speaking too fast. Guess what? Or too slow, because you recorded it slowly. If they say you're speaking too slow, they can speed it up on their own. Like I listen to audiobooks faster now because I've been doing it. But for the most part, people need to hear what you say. And so you need to be concise in the way that you speak. You need to enunciate and you need to speak a little bit more slowly. So day 2, this is what we're doing. We're taking a speech and we're timing ourselves. And then you're going to do it again and you're going to do it a third time. Okay. So that's day 1 and day 2 of the Powerful Public Speaking Challenge. I'm going to give you kind of the assignments, the homework assignments inside of the Skype group. Chris, drop one more time for me the link into the chat here. If you haven't joined the Skype group, please do. If you guys want to share some of the fears, the visualization and what you're visualizing with success, you're more than welcome to inside the group. You don't have to. But tomorrow we're going to get into days 3, 4, and 5. So have a pen and paper handy. Be ready. I promise if you apply this, it can be helpful. Even those of you guys that have been speaking, odds are you haven't been practicing in a while. So it's a good way to kind of review things. So get in and get things going. And on that note, I'm going to hit a couple of questions here. It's taught in sales training by some. Absolutely. It totally is. If you tell a joke in public stage, you need to wait a minimum of 5 seconds or you'll trample on your laughs. Yep. And it's great. Here's where confidence comes in. If you tell a joke and you wait 5 seconds and it bombs and nobody's laughing, and be able to roll into the next part of your speech without falling on your face, right? Don't expect a laugh just because you think it's funny. Trust me, I've learned that more than enough working with you guys, occasionally saying something and then looking around and just dead eyes staring back at me. Not everybody's going to laugh, and that's totally okay. Once you learn to be okay with that, and then not everybody's going to enjoy it, and sometimes people are going to react a different way, hey, all the pressure's off. So what about those of us that are already professional speakers and MCs? I have been on radio and broadcasting. If that's the case, if some of you guys have already done that, then get the video for the masterclass and re-practice it and maybe think about refilming it, or write a new one, right? Create some other topic, right? Turn it into a speech. Later, we'll get to filming it. We're not going to do that yet. That's going to be day 3 or 4. I'm not sure. Maybe even day 5. We'll get there. But write something out that you'll be able to use later on. In the meantime, practice. But yeah, if you're already doing something great, now we practice and become a little bit better. Okay. What happens to me when I speak in front of seniors? Not much laughter. Hey, it's not just you, Janine. Same thing applies to professional broadcasting. Dead air is a nightmare. Being able to cover that dead air, though, and broadcasting is a little bit different, right, than public speaking. Like if you tell a joke and you're expecting laughter, or like this is, even though you guys are on mute, there is a certain connection response. I can see at least some of you responding when that's there. There's a few that I look to a little bit. There are some that I know are easier judges where anything I say is going to get a laugh. I'm like, okay, check there. But then I look for some others that are a little bit more stone-faced and I go, oh, so I'm somewhere in the middle, right? I know typically that's the case. If you're doing it on video though, or like if you decide to take that step and get on TV, you don't have the audience reaction there. So you only have either the person in front of you or you have yourself. That's where you need to kind of be careful, because coming off as dropping a joke in the middle of that. Anyway, different conversation. Day 1 and day 2 we've got. Homework will be inside the Skype group. I've already given you the challenge number. Day 1, you're writing out fears and you're visualizing success, writing those out. Day 2, we are practicing the address and we're timing ourselves. You're going to do it at least 3 times. First time normal, second time attempting tone and speed, third time increasing.
Sometimes people have what it takes, but they haven't recognized it yet.
Just go forward. On that note,
how do you stand out?
So what you need to do is be that person that's different and is bigger than you think.
I will rise from the ashes and I like the phoenix that you are.
Tomorrow, Friday.